Good evening, ladies and gents. This is Alex Fat Ass Cat, and I'm just going to do a quick one take on why I don't really think the Tekno ET48 2.0 is a great basher. Now, first things first, it's a great race kit if you're racing with it. All the parts are top quality. This build I made, I put this together myself. Super easy, super smooth, except for the shock colors. Anyone who's built one of these things knows what I'm talking about. Anywho, so a lot of people kind of sell Tekno as an ultimate basher, and they'll put that over Traxxas, with the Max or Arrma and their Cretons. And, people are always like, the part quality is better, it's a better design, blah, 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 it's lighter. It's like, yes, that is true. I actually had a MT410 as well before I bought this. I upgraded from the MT410 to this with the same power system. I didn't have much time on the MT410 because I figured I'd get the newest, latest, and greatest. And that might have been a bit of a mistake. And let me go through why. First of all, the ET48 as a truggy, a race truggy, it doesn't have a bumper on either the front or the back side. And that's a problem if you're bashing. Arrma, one of the greatest things they've done in a long time, is come out with these big squishy bumpers for the 6S line and the 8S line. Traxxas for years on Max and the X Max have had the plush bumpers in the front of the back, and that really saves you a lot when you're bashing. So if you're going to make a basher out of this, you're going to have to put a bumper on it. Someone's going to have to come out with something, either T-Bone Racing, RPM. The problem with that is that not many people bash these, and so it's kind of the chicken or the egg situation. Who's going to, are more people going to bash it and ask for those parts? Or are people not going to bash it because those parts don't exist? So it's kind of one of those situations. The other thing, the issue I'm having with this rig really is that it's made to be lightweight. It's made to drive on 4S. The Arrmas, over the years, have evolved from this, a race truggy from the Team Durango truggy and buggies from years ago to, thicker drive shafts. The EXBs now have excellent differentials. They come stock with metal braces, something the Tekno doesn't have. They have a big center brace, which Tekno doesn't have. And really, that pays off when you're bashing. They become big and heavy, and they're not the most nimble trucks in the world, but these things are friggin' skookum. The Tekno, on the other hand, it's very lightweight, but you don't have the braces out of the box. You don't have the thick chassis the Arrmas have out of the box, although I would be willing to bet that this Tekno is a better quality chassis. You still don't have any of the bracing. The other problem with this Tekno that I've had is kind of the layout. I'm lucky the big 6S SMC batteries I have fit. Your spaces in here is pretty limited. I love this battery strap because it works for me, but for a lot of people it won't work. And you're going to have trouble getting to like 2 3S batteries in here if you're trying to do 6S. And the same thing with the layout. This is originally where the ESC goes. This is originally where the radio box goes. I had to do some custom design work to get this castle unit to fit in here. I put in the Traxxas waterproof box because the stock receiver box is not waterproof. And unless you have one of the, I believe it's waterproof Spectrum receivers, might be Futaba, you're going to need a radio box. So it's just something else you have to do to get one of these things to be a basher. And, personally, if this thing was out 3 years ago, I'd say this is a pretty good deal. It drives like a boss. It's lightweight. It flips in the air very easily. But nowadays, with the price of these Creighton EXBs creeping down there to, the kit here with all the same, you get all the aluminum bracing. You get, like, the heavy-duty driveline, the differentials, all of that. That's like $450. I just bought 2 of them on Black Friday for $330, whatever it was on sale for. That's ridiculous. The Tekno being a race truggy, it doesn't need the aluminum braces. It doesn't need the fat, drive lines. So it's not going to be as durable. I've seen a bunch of people tear these drive lines up, especially on the MT410, because I believe it was the same thickness drive shaft. These get all bent up if you're bashing because this plastic will flex. And I've seen some bad things about the differentials and these not standing up to 6S abuse, even if you're not sticking, say, a big Max 6 system in there. This is just a smaller Castle system with a 2200 kV motor. And I'm still worried about these differentials. Anywho, long story short, the reason I made this video was because I had a moderate crash into a rock. So, hit a rock, pressed the body into the shock, totally bent the crud out of the shock shaft, which was fine. Totally my mistake. But the thing is, it took out the shock shaft. It took out the shock cap. There's a little plastic piece in here that you have to buy separately. And then the thing that it's kind of put me in for this rig, because, you know, minor crashes have been resulting in breakages that I don't think would happen on these Creightons, is that this shock housing is bent from one impact, and it's from this front, I believe it's from the front body, or it's from like the body bending into the shock, I don't know. Anyway, the shock doesn't fit in there anymore. You can see kind of the lip there. Sorry if it's not focusing. And that's because this is nice and lightweight. It's made for racing. These Arrma shocks, nice big. I've literally jumped this EXP right here. I've hit this shock into a basketball pole, I'm pretty sure twice, and both times it's just snapped the shock shaft. And so while the better quality in the Tekno will bend, that's not helping you any compared to that, which saves the shock housing. And considering I have to buy this, which is like $12, plus this, plus the top of the shock mount, it's just ridiculous. Oh, also, the LFR body got trashed on it. It's just, I'm not too hot on it. What I do like about these, just to not leave this be completely negative, is that this thing drives like butter. The Creightons need a lot of work with the steering servo. You have to put in the aftermarket, you know, servo, whatever, to adjust the tightness of the servo. Some of them I put in the old V3. This one I recently put in a hot racing one because the servo saver is just way too soft in these, and they just drive like ass. The Tekno drives great. That's the one thing I love about this. It drives absolutely great. So what I'm probably going to be doing is just turn it back into a racing rig the way, you know, God intended, and leave the bashing to the fleet of Arrmas that I keep, because that's what they were born to do. Anywho, hopefully you appreciate this video. If you have any questions about this, or if you'd like to share any of your experiences about it, I would love to hear them in the comments below. And I hope you have a good night. Bye-bye.